Hello and welcome back to ADV Revival 2. We're still pushing through Swiss, and we find ourselves in round 7. Of the 700 entrants we started with, we're already down to over 200 gamers remaining, and before you know it, we're going to be dropping matches for the first round of Top 32. So while you're here, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Zetz, and I'm joined by Gold Mason. Gold Mason, how's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm excited to get into this game. Oscari versus Violet River. Violet River is a top 12, I believe, invite finalist for the Gymvitational that we hosted earlier this year. And Oscari is a Brazilian gamer, doing pretty well as well. Round 7, obviously, so definitely has the chops.
Oscari has been doing very well. Many of our viewers saw them last round in round 6 against 3 Blades, and while they were defeated in that set, that was just their first loss of the entire event. Both of these gamers, River included, have just lost once. They're 5-1, meaning they just need to win 3 of their next 4 to make it out. Let's dive in and see how game 1 goes.
Well, that is not what Salamence usually wants to see, Glay, but just goes for the spike.
Yeah, outspeeds, and Glay actually pivoting out. Not something you see all the time.
I think that was banded damage, because Glay usually shouldn't take that much. So, in comes Skarmory.
And the Glay exploding on the Skarmory. Okay, and Molt trying to deny spikes on Oscari's side.
Oh, do make sure to swap the sides for the spike glitch whenever you get a moment.
Of course.
Blissey comes in on the Moltres. That's pretty standard. There is Swampert.
You're going to scout out the HP grass, surely.
Absolutely. We already know a lot of what Oscari's team is. Could go in a few different directions, but that is almost certainly a banded Salamence for sure now.
Right.
And then I was about to say, yeah, there's probably a Magneton. And then, ooh, gets a nice Thunder Wave off on Jolteon.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Its whole thing is that it's as fast as Arrow, but not anymore.
Not anymore. This whole team is looking really rough into Blissey. This is not really what this team wanted to see. It wanted to see an offense team that it could kind of pick apart, and instead it's run into Skarm Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the meta is basically all I'm seeing on River's side that has even a chance to try to break through.
Yeah, absolutely. And there might be something like a Salamence or something in the back to maybe alleviate that a little bit, but yeah, Blissey is going to be really tough for River to get through. And that is also a Rest Zapdos, more than likely.
Nice double by River, getting the Moltres in ahead of the Skarmory. River knows that, oh my god, it's overheat as well, but Oscari's not going to want to leave that Blissey in front of Meta, the only revealed Mon capable of threatening it.
Absolutely not. And we're seeing Overheat only do 32% to Blissey. It's just going to get that soft-boiled right back up. And this is not a line that River can take forever.
But doubling again.
Oscari's making those nice, safe plays, bringing Blissey in on Moltres and Skarmory in on Metagross. I think eventually River's going to have to just let Skarmory come in on meta and start breaking it down with the Meteor Mash.
And River opts to take quite a chunk on their Moltres to deal some damage to the Salamence. And yeah, like you said, this is not a favorable matchup. River's just going to have to get a couple guesses correct here to try to bring this back.
Yeah, the roar on Blissey as Blissey comes in is definitely one of them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's huge. You're getting the chip damage from the spikes.
Yep. Did let a spike up from Oscari's Skarmory, though, so you're going to see, like, this meta just took, the hidden power plus the spike damage. That is going to rack up pretty quickly. Same with Jolteon here coming in on the spike. In comes Banette.
And this thing has finally clicked some move aside from, taunt Will-O-Wisp. Does a bit of damage to the Zapdos, and it's Suicune in the back revealed. So pretty special offense oriented.
All right, Zapdos going down is pretty huge. I don't know that Oscari should have let that happen. If the Zapdos was alive, it would have been able to rest and then more than likely be able to roar out that Suicune later if needed. If that is a Suicune that can beat Blissey, going to be a hard time.
Every single time that meta gets in front of the Bliss, River is doubling the Moltres in on the incoming Skarm. And it's the problem is River's gotten that guess right like 4 or 5 times, but they just don't get quite enough value off of it. Oh my god. What a little bit of an over prediction from the Ments, but holds on for dear life at 1% Gold Mason.
1% indeed. I don't know about risking your Soundlaments there. That is your primary damage dealer now, and it's at 1%.
Yeah, and Blissey just able to find so many opportunities to come in and soft-boiled. So tough to break it.
Yeah, every single time the Moltres is there to catch the Skarm. That is a nice burn. So you get a little bit more damage onto Blissey. That's an extra spike damage.
The Banette has Taunt, so that could be an alternative way to try to get in front of the Blissey. And it's Hidden Power Fighting?
Fighting, almost certainly. Really nice play from River. Knows that Magneton or something like that's going to come in. Wants to get the damage in. It would have done more to Skarm as well.
And Suicune is starting to look pretty good. Both electric threats on Oscari's side are out of here.
Yeah, the real problem is going to be breaking through Blissey. If the Suicune has a way through, either through rest, pressure, or anything like that, then maybe. But breaking through the Blissey and then being able to survive the CB Ments is going to be tough.
Right. It's Ice Beam Blissey. Okay, it reveals Wish last.
Mm-hmm. You almost have to run Wish on a CB Ments team like this. You need to get that CB Ments some support, especially when it's your, again, primary damage dealer. We might see at some point here Oscari let a Pokemon go to get a Wish to the Salamence just so that it can survive those smaller hits, but
that could be a game-winning play.
Absolutely.
Taunting the Pert, and I guess trying to call out a potential refresh, but loses the Banette, and we're heading into an endgame.
We are indeed. Here comes Moltres. I mean, yeah. Moltres not having a way through Blissey is always really rough. Another Wish. Skarmory's going to get that Wish for sure. Or Swampert even. Yep.
And that's huge for the Swampert.
Mm-hmm. It's back alive. Metagross staying in. There's the refresh.
It was refresh Pert all along. Not surprising with Protect Surf.
I am very surprised about that Moltres play. I thought that the Swampert was just going to go for a Surf immediately. Let the Metagross take it into Torrent range and get a big Surf off, but...
Yeah, ended up working out. Another Roar, so could just go to the Blissey. If you just roar it out every time it comes in, that could be a win con. But when the Salamence is in, you kind of have to get out of the way. Doesn't.
Oh.
Maybe a bit of an over-prediction. Maybe River hoping that a Rock Slide misses. But Oscari's Salamence is putting in so much work.
I think River definitely expected a prediction. Thus left the Moltres in to catch that prediction, and yeah.
It is Suicune last, and I mean we've seen Suicune do more difficult task than this.
Crazy things. Yeah, River went for the immediate blow up with Metagross there, exactly for that reason, to get the last mon Suicune going.
And this Blissey has, I guess Oscari's plan is to try to force the Suicune to rest, and then, I don't know, are you going to the CB Ments? Like, what's the end game here for Oscari?
That probably is exactly what is going to happen, yep. You can kind of fish for crits.
Wow, HP Flying do 50%.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is not a bulky Suicune, so actually it didn't even need to fish for crits. It's not a bold Suicune, probably modest. So down it goes.
Wow. ABR in shambles. And we dive into game 2. Oscari with the lead.
He said in the Discord that if you load that lead Doug team that he loves into CB Men's turn 1, you just forfeit on the spot.
So he has
This
an
is-
out. He's accounted for this in
Yep.
his calculations. And River's Skarm speed crept, denying the opposing Skarm with taunt. Starmie gonna come in.
This is a River Comfort team. It's DD Focus Punch Tyranitar and a very fast taunt Skarm. So this is just River has gone back to pure comfort.
Makes sense. You hate to take your second loss of the tour in round 7. That would mandate that you would win out all 3 remaining rounds to make it out. So, go to your comfort pick. Go to a team that you know you can play well.
Absolutely. So this Skarmory is going to stall out the Starmie, get the spikes in. There might be a Gengar, but I think River was showing an offensive Starmie. Yep, because that catches the defensive Starmie coming back in and threatens it out. But Oscari brought Blissey, which is off-me's natural enemy.
The natural enemy of many a Pokemon in the tier.
Everybody's talking about broken Doug, but I mean, I don't, Blissey is kind of, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't keep going. Maybe I shouldn't keep talking.
Swampert comes in on the Focus Punch, and that does quite a chunk to the Pert.
Absolutely. It is, I believe, a bit more attack investment because it is that Focus Punch. So, gets a nice chunk on Pert. Pert's just healing up, though, and doesn't take that Toxic.
River just decided to get a third spike, and that I guess that would fairly strongly suggest that they must have some sort of spin blocker in the back if they're happy to let the Skarm go.
Almost certainly. I fully expect a Gengar now. Okay, Body Slam on Tyranitar.
Dodging that para could be huge, and very similar team structures so far. If you're right about the Gengar in the back, River doesn't have a Blissey. Perhaps Jirachi's trying to fill that role of a bit of a special wall.
Almost certainly. That or let 3 spikes up with a spinner still up on the field. I'm not sure. Maybe River just plans to outplay. But yeah, Starmie, the off-me is incredibly low now.
And River has been ahead of so many of these doubles, like now getting the T-Tar in ahead of the Blissey, getting another Focus Punch on the Swampert, taking so much damage from the spikes. Mm-hmm. And it is not long for this world, and it's out of here.
It is gone, but Starmie is allowed in now, so we'll see if there's a Gengar. There it is.
And here it is.
All right. Well, this is suddenly looking quite winnable for River. Skarm is going to...
Whoa.
Yep. Okay.
That's looking like the game, Gold Mason. No more spin. The Starmie's out of here.
Yeah, no spikes either. You got to get the Skarmory back in and get the spikes up. It's an offensive Starmie, so it's not going to be able to recover very much.
Oscari lets the T-Tar go and just forfeits.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be a slightly slow death, but I mean, Skarmory and Blissey don't really want to deal with a Gengar, and it's still there at full health. So
yeah, River's team was just so well positioned, and yeah, I love how they maneuvered around that game, put themselves in a great spot. Sometimes you get a lucky crit on that Thunderbolt, but I think that they were in a good position even before
absolutely
that point. They've afforded themselves a game 3 here.
Mm-hmm. And River's just really, really good at those offensive doubles. Made a name for herself doing that kind of stuff in the Gymvitational. So Crunch
in lead pursuit, Tar just doing heaps of damage to this offensive Pert, which can OHKO the T-Tar.
Yep, goodbye. If that was grass, that would have been the ballsiest stay-in of all time. But I guess River is just built different, knows better.
Nice pivot to the Gengar on the Focus Punch, sure. Could you ever sub down to Blaze range and just try to Fire Blast this?
You definitely can. It looks like... Nope.
Just wanted to flamethrower.
Flamethrower and Blaze Range, I don't think even KOs, so that was a decent move from Oscari.
Right.
Not even going for it. Just getting the guaranteed damage. You do want damage on the Gengar. And honestly, this team from Oscari already looks like it's going to be the Cowboy Dan team, or it looks similar already. So it might have that arrow, which really wants the Gengar chipped.
Third Blissey of the set for Oscari, and we see a Flygon here.
So not at all the Cowboy Dan team. I've already been proven wrong.
Bamboozled.
Taking Toxic.
Perhaps this is just a Superman team. Oh my god, everything's getting toxic right now.
Entirely possible. The Blissey does possibly have Aromatherapy or Heal Bell, one of those. So maybe Oscari is fine with taking these Toxics. I have to assume it probably does.
Oh, great Flamethrower into the off Pert. Pert gets out of the way. Gengar's out of here. And that's a fast threat that's down on River's side.
And we were just talking about the offensive doubles.
And another one.
As I say it, of course, River makes another one. But sometimes those don't pay off, like when the Gengar came in on a Flamethrower. But sometimes they do, like when the Tyranitar comes in on Blissey.
Another Fire Blast, but Flygon just not offensively oriented enough to do too much damage to the Skarm. It's able to get a spike up.
Yeah.
And it will go down. What can River do with just one spike for the remainder of this game? Off-Pert clearly representing Ice Beam, and Skarm is going to come in. But another offensive double by River, getting the Zapdos in. They've done it so many times this set. Flygon comes in, but has to take more toxic damage. River in a great spot.
If this is an Ice Beam or Hidden Power Ice Zapdos, it's not. I was going to say Hidden Power Ice Zapdos kind of just wins this game. Even with the one spike, Blissey's not going to be able to do too much. So down Flygon goes.
That is it for Flygon. Charizard is here. And yeah, Flamethrower is able to actually get there. I don't know that crit mattered. Maybe it depends on the set, but an offensive Pert, right?
It certainly does not. Just going for damage now. Charizard goes down. This is kind of a very scary game. I'm not sure that, there's a DD.
Oh, crit Rock Slide at the perfect moment. This is so tough for Oscari now. Really needed all that health on Skarm, and it's not able to take another hit. I don't think. You can pivot the Bliss in and try to chip heal the Skarm, but this is tough.
Yeah, especially if, I was going to say if River does that and brings the Tyranitar in. You kind of don't want to go to the Blissey. Now River's pretty sure you're going to... Oh my...
Rest Tyranitar. It's Resto Chesto.
Resto Chesto Tyranitar is crazy.
This is wild, and it's a Jirachi in the back.
Jirachi.
It's getting DD'd on, though. I don't know if the Jirachi's going to be enough.
It probably won't be. The Rest Tyranitar means that... Rest Tyranitar might win this by itself.
Rest, Dragon Dance, Rock Slide, Earthquake. What a set. That's the power of T-Tars. You never know what that set's going to be until all four buttons are clicked, and I don't know that Oscari could have possibly tried to play around Rest, Dragon Dance.
Oh, that was a really heads-up Rock Slide. Blissey's going to come in. Tyranitar's going to take more toxic damage, but it can just rest it off.
It's going to simply rest, and this is looking fairly over. Yeah, Seismic Toss only doing 25%. T-Tar can just wake up and click a button.
Yep. And it is over.
No leftovers is something.
Well, yeah, actually it's doing exactly 26%. So, but Blissey goes down, Jirachi's going to die to an Earthquake, and it is over.
Wow. Great stuff to River. Both players will move on, but River now 6-1 going into round 8. Just has to win 2 of 3 to make it out. Meanwhile, Oscari has to win out. So good stuff to both players. What a set, Gold Mason.
That was pretty awesome.
I've said this before. I wish we could do like post-game interviews. I just want to hold a microphone up to River. Be like, River, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Going into this round 7 set, both you and Oscari were doing great with just one loss each. I was wondering first, what kind of prep did you do going into the set, and what kind of things about their playstyle in particular were you thinking about when team building for the set?
I noticed that he was very honest in a lot of the teams that he brought these very these spikes teams that didn't cheat on things defensively. He always packed his Blissey and his sometimes double rock resist and his plenty of Gengar checks, and he wouldn't have a lot of a really explosive offenses that can rip you up. Nothing like the Doug Trio things with the Porygon and the Heracross and the Suicune. Nothing that would really take the pace of the game that fast. And so I was focusing on I really wanted spike offense teams that would be able to do their offense really well. And I cheated a little bit on the extremes of the defensive spectrum. So some of those teams would be auto loss to some Salicberry Heracross.
I want to ask about the Game 3 T-Tar set, but before we get there, if you can recall Games 1 and 2, I guess based on how the set had been going up to that point, what in general were you thinking going into Game 3? And how did you feel the set had gone, and do you feel like how it went, was it confirming your preconceived notions of what you were expecting? Were there any curveballs that Oscari threw your way?
It was really weird how everything was going to plan. I lost Game 1 from him making entirely honest plays. He clicked the best button in front of him every turn, and it guided him to a win. And then the Game 2, he clicked the best button in front of him every turn, and I made the plays that were a little bit more proactive, and I won that one without a lot of contest. And so I felt really good in my brain. I thought that everything would work as planned because it was all going to script.
Amazing. Okay, last question. I have to ask about that Game 3 Tyranitar set, the Dragon Dance Resto Chesto Rock Slide Earthquake. It's a set I personally never seen, but it worked wonderfully here. How long, River, have you been working on this set, and what prompted you specifically to bring it here in this Game 3?
I saw it initially back when I was an advanced noob in last Revival. I was in the Revival court and I was looking at people talking about things, and someone posted their Rest Tyranitar set, and they were like, I don't know what this does, but it's probably good for something. and I spent time thinking about, because I didn't know that they were just bad at the time, so I was like, I don't understand their genius. And so what I'd come up with was you can fit your Resto Chesto Tyranitar on offensive teams with physical threats like the Aero stuff, where you don't have a good switch into Gengar, because you can come in on the Will-O-Wisp, you can Dragon Dance on it, and then rest off the burn, so you use it as setup fodder. And this also works for using defensive Jirachi as setup fodder. It turns it into a status absorber, whereas with Lumberry, it's you can function in the face of status, but you can't really raw into it. Whereas with the Resto, you can eat the status and just sit there and then pop the rest when you're ready to go for it.
That is so brilliant. I love the creativity of taking something you saw from a newer player that might not have known what they were doing, but you found a way to actually integrate it and implement it in the metagame in a unique way. And honestly, those kinds of plays are the most exciting thing about ADV to me, seeing players like you and ban Manaphy do just crazy stuff. So thanks so much for jumping onto this interview. We don't have to do more of this kind of stuff on the channel, but fun watching you play. Congrats on your victory here, and best of luck in the rest of the bracket.
Hell yeah, much appreciated.
Well, thank you guys all for watching. Sub if you haven't already. We got new videos coming out most days of the week, and before you know it, it's going to be top 32, so stay tuned for more. And again, thanks so much for supporting ADV Revival 2 and Revival tournaments.
Yep, thank you everybody so much for watching. We really appreciate it a lot.
Peace.